yell.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about what happened in this case. So I'm sure you're asking yourself also as to what happened. We are also asking that question, what happened? But just stay tuned with us so that we can unpack and probably tell you what happened. I'm also going to be following when Emily tells us exactly what was rolling in court. So do the right thing then, if you're with us right now. Like the video, share the video, comment as much as you can, participate in the live chat section, but make sure that you thumbs it up as quick as possible so that you don't get disturbed along the way. We thank you for that. And those who want to join membership, it's there after you subscribe. There's a join button, and that button will be shown to you as we talk. There will be a bit of that picture, as you can see right now, that is showing how to do it if you are confused, and also showing you how to subscribe and how to like. So follow that and you should be fine. And then stay tuned with us. Thank you. Let's go, Emily.
Oh yes. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another unpacking of today's court proceedings regarding the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Let's first start with Sergeant Patrick Mtetwa, who yesterday was asked to bring the list of his qualifications and training. Advocate George Baloy said that he is objecting to Mtetwa providing a list of his qualifications as requested by Advocate Zandile Mshololo. He said Mtetwa is an ordinary police officer. He's not an expert witness. He said, we submit if ordinary police officers should be asked to bring their qualifications, it could deter such witnesses from coming to testify. The request must be declined. And the judge said that he can't bar Mshololo from asking for such if it's in the interest of the defense of a client. And after that, Mshololo asked if he had brought his qualifications, and Mtetwa said that he had not brought his qualifications. He couldn't think of all the qualifications he has. He said that he asked that they print them out at work, but unfortunately they close at 4 p.m. And as we all know, court finishes at around 3:30 p.m. So Mtetwa said that although he couldn't be specific about the year, however, he will outline his training. And that training included domestic violence, vulnerable children, first responder to SA offenses. And Mshololo said, that's all, Mtetwa. That's what I'm able to remember. That's what Mtetwa said. So he received training regarding duties. Mshololo asked, you received training regarding duties you are to conduct at a crime scene? And Mtetwa said, yes, at a college. And after you left Themba Khumalo at the scene, do you know if there were any exhibits placed or removed from the scene? And Mtetwa said, no, because we had left. So then that's when Advocate Mshololo ended her cross-examination. But overall, Mr. Anonymous, how do you feel about the fact that Mtetwa could not bring his qualifications today? That was very interesting.
Yeah, but I told you yesterday that is not going to happen. Didn't I? I told you that it's not going to happen. And
you did. You did say that.
And whatever that I said will happen, it happened.
What if?
Which is objecting. Because someone would realize maybe that there is a bit of forensic there.
Nyana.
So that would actually have a problem towards this whole whatever that they are driving. And I did mention it. It's okay. It's always nice to see things that we kind of expect happening.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect anything less. Yeah. Exactly. And to top it all, I did expect him not to bring anything like the whatever that pocket book or whatever book that they use.
Just like the pocket book.
Blaming it on HR also, this one. So it's okay. Did she come back with an answer of the CSC lady why they destroyed the pocketbook? No. Did Mshololo remember that? No.
It was actually Ramosipili who asked for it.
Yeah. So those are the things that you would kind of expect not to happen, right? Yeah. So
now I have to really wonder. There's forensic somewhere in there, somewhere in those qualifications. He just didn't want to be bound.
Yeah. So when they looked, you probably realized, this one's not going to sit well. So let us find an angle. I don't know. I kind of felt like that yesterday. I felt that it was going to happen. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. It's time for another day in court and to actually look forward into determining what might happen next. That was kind of expected.
So Advocate Charles Mnisi for accused number 3 raised and said that there are new developments regarding his client Ntombi Khumalo, accused number 3. Mnisi said that this relates to unlawful possession of a firearm. Mnisi said Khumalo was convicted on that charge, which is count 4. And he said that his client told him that the firearm that was an issue here relates to the evidence that was supplied by Mr. Dlamini and Masondo. Yeah, so he was asking for the plea to be changed from not guilty to otherwise convey to section 106 of subsection 2.
Yes.
Otherwise convey.
Yes.
I was like, what the hell is that?
And literally scraping the what we call the charge that was also made by Baloyi about unlicensed firearm.
Yes. So he was charged and convicted of the same firearm charge. And he was charged in Johannesburg High Court in 2015. So the judge wanted the date and he was charged. The judge said that he also wanted a copy of the charge sheet, which I found very interesting.
It is. So we will unpack because it might confuse you. So that convey thing, which is basically, in a sense, this person is saying this is a duplication of conviction. This charge was imposed and I have been punished for it. So if you punish me again for this charge,
same charge,
then you are actually duplicating that punishment. Now, one might argue to say, where can we reference such things? And there's a duplication conviction of one crime. This is the recent case is S versus Lamin in 2012, the case that was eventually taken to Supreme Court. So in this case, the appellants and accomplices robbed Miss B at her home. And unfortunately, Miss B had her friends, I think 2 of her friends over at that time, and they robbed all of them. So when that happened, that now means that they robbed 3 people, took their position, their belongings. And then what happened is the regional court decided to then charge the appellant, in this case, 3 times. So each woman, whatever that was stolen in that woman, which is 1 case. And the second woman, whatever that was stolen in that woman, 2nd case, and the 3rd one. So in that case, it became like 3 charges. So what happened, that case was taken to to High Court for appealing. When they did that, the High Court, as usual, it dismissed that. And as expected, these people subsequently, they moved to Supreme Court. Then where now this case then was submitted, the conviction. Therefore, what they did there is to combine all these cases and say the robbery of the belongings should be 1 case. And then that means 2 of those cases that were actually added at the regional court, they now they were eliminated in a sense. They said you took the belongings. When you got in that house, you took the belongings. So that is 1 charge.
I wouldn't say necessarily eliminated. I would say more like fused.
Yeah, they were
together.
fused. Yes, they were fused in one case. So that is what Nisi was trying to actually bring into the attention of the court, to say that you cannot go to and do a charge that was already done, and for NPA to kind of ignore that, and not look at that. It shows, for me, it shows the weakness that the NPA is at right now. You are desperate such that you charge, whether on purpose or not on purpose, you charge this person of whatever that they were charged on.
You convict.
You want to you even bring the people, the witnesses of the other case. In this case, one might argue that, okay, as Balo is easily submitted to say that, no, actually, I'm still going to prove this. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? You start by laying the grounds, laying the rules and everything, and what happened and how you actually linking this guy, and then bring those people that you need now to bring to testify. Because when they testify without anything that was laid, they testified as if they are testifying for the Vosloorus case, 636. And anyone who could have listened to them could have been easily confused, and then the judge eventually then obviously sort of overruled and said, okay, if you're saying you're going to link this whole situation to the bullet to the same gun, and okay, I will listen to that evidence,
of which was not even disclosed when he made
at the time. It was not.
ruling.
That's why you need to lay your points. You need to put your points down to
Which
say
is what the state failed to do. They didn't lay that basis way before entertaining those detectives from that Alexandra.
so. They
cases.
they entertained them as if this is the arrest that was happening was basically the arrest of Cas Vosloorus. So which in a sense was wrong. And then after that, obviously the judge listened, and then Nisi came in to actually answer some few or fight actually back why this should be actually removed.
Yes.
Not
He
to be
wanted
considered.
The testimony, the part of the testimony where the police who was testifying at that day to remove the Alexandra case, any mention of his Alexandra case needed to be struck off or taken from the records, and he said he can't do that. Okay.
Yes.
Which is according to him, a rule. He can't do it. Okay, fine. But then why did you entertain Baloy's testimony of these police from this other case without him laying the basis? Because we stood there, listened to these people testify, getting cross-examined.
Yes.
Can you imagine the defense cross-examined these two police officers without even knowing what the direction was, without even knowing what was the basis of their appearance and their testimonies and their evidence in chief? There was no basis that the state laid. They just went on with the flow, only to find out after a certain objection yesterday that actually the bullet, one of the bullet from one of the guns that accused number 3 has, was found at the scene. They're not even saying that it shot the deceased. They're just saying it was found at the scene. It's part of the evidence. So we don't even know what that bullet did.
Then eventually, then they said no, they will listen to it because Balo still needs to prove that the link is here. So far, there is no link that has been actually established. So then Baloyi was. You will see. Eventually, Baloyi says precisely that, but my lord, that's why we decided to bring these witnesses. But continue, Emil. I don't want to ruin your process of how you are going with things.
Well, the judge asked, what is the sentence? And Nisi said, that's not relevant. The judge asked, no, the court needs to satisfy itself. And Mnisi said, basically saying accused number 3 has already been convicted for unlawful possession of firearm. And Charles Mnisi said that there are changes to accused number 3's appeal on count 4 of unlawful possession of a firearm. And the firearm that Sergeant Mandla Masondo and Sergeant Bongiseni Dlamini testified about last week, and it was finalized in 2017.
Indeed, the court must not hear about a different court case that has been dealt with. It's like it's a review now of whatever that was, and that now where they say I would because I need to investigate and see what charges were on this case, and then name some of the charges that could be the possible when you are caught with an unlicensed in possession of unlicensed firearm. Then he separates them. So in this case, it's
serial number also has its own charge. Ammunition, possession of ammunition also has its own charge.
Which is something that could have been dealt with on that case of unlicensed firearm. So it's like, for me, they are looking to find what was not there and then add it on their side.
Maybe
he was
only charged. Let's give an example. Maybe he was only charged for possession of illegal firearm.
Yes.
They didn't add removal of serial number or ammunition on his charge sheet.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why the judge could be asking for the charge sheet is to check if those other charges are there. And then if they are not, then the case is continuing and they're going to add removal of serial number. That may add possession of ammunition.
Which looks like self-correction. And it's like, okay, we charged you last time. Whoever our learned colleagues charged you, but they didn't charge you for this. So we're going to add this. So that is, in a sense, well, that is the case. You can say that, okay, fine, that is how law should be. But dealing with the issues of an umbrella of this case that we dealt with, an unlicensed firearm was dealt with at that time. You would assume that all the angles were dealt with in terms of what should be done when you are fined with an unlicensed firearm.
As they should have.
So they even took it to forensic. So to now go and revise and try to find loopholes by the judge, because seemingly Nisi bringing this thing is sort of weakening the state's case. And then it's such that at the point of cross-examination, the judge stops that cross-examination of someone else's testimony and says, by the way, do you remember what you said? You said that those people, they would say they don't have anything to do with that gun. This is something that is bothering the judge, such that as someone is busy,
what Mlisi said.
as someone is busy there on the stand testifying,
while you were cross-examining,
the judge is triggered to say, no. Actually, do you remember that you said that? It's like scaremongers. I'm scaring you. Don't even go that direction. No, this is right.
And he even made an example, this judge. He said that in America, they call it double jeopardy.
Yes.
He doesn't want it to seem like a person will be charged twice for the same crime.
Yes.
You know, and now you are holding this grudge at random when everything and everyone has moved on. You bring up the fact that Nisi said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in his cross-examination.
Which in his submission, Amelie, there's nothing wrong with what he said. I mean, he's dealing with this case independently. So if I say I had nothing to do with that, in more especially when it comes to case of Vosloorus, what is wrong? Why should now I be analyzed based on the case that was dealt with on my client and that case was done? Why now should we bring that and analyze it here in the very same court as if we were reopening that case?
Yes. And another thing I have to say is that I appreciate the objections. Here's the thing about them. They reveal the basis, especially if you don't understand what's going on. Just object for the sake of objecting so that you find out, where are we going here? You know, you probe into where are we going with our arguments, because now look, Dlamini and the other one from the Alexandra and Cleveland cases took a very long time to testify. You were even cross-examining them, and people are complaining, are like, some of these questions that they're asking, we don't understand how they're going to link to finding out who shot Senzo. They're all over the place.
Yes.
But because they don't know what the end or the basis of bringing such people is to begin with.
Even legal aspects, some of them, if you follow these legal aspects, some of them, they are always off. But they are bringing it up this time to say that, but hey, look, man, this is the problem, because you have not proved that this gun actually is linked. Yes.
That took Senzo's life.
You leave that open. I don't know, for whatever reason, if you want to sort of sway your narrative and back to the revolver. I don't know. It's like, let's leave it open like that. We'll find something. Very soon, before you realize, you would hear that maybe accused 5 actually had a revolver.
Well, continuing on, the judge said, is he serving a sentence for that? And Mnisi said, what we are saying is that he already is convicted for the charge and the state has preferred against him. And Mnisi said that the accused has served the sentence for the charge. And the judge wanted to know how long the sentence was for, and that the court also needed to know whether there were other related charges. And Mnisi said that the sentence is irrelevant. So the judge declined the objection, and the witness did not bring their certificates as well, which is Mtetwa. But yes, the judge declined that objection.
Yes.
The state called the next witness, which is Sergeant Timothy Mathebula. But before we go on to that, do you think Mnisi should pursue this?
Yes.
He definitely should.
Yes. He should not be threatened by that. Because, I mean, if the judge decides to sort of add more in terms of what they want to add, just because they feel that charge sheet of initially a case that was dealt with, that probably this person is serving the sentence for, then it will be pursued there and there to say that, but we're not dealing with this case, and this case was brought. Now, when we try to bring it to the attention of this court, we are told that now it's like a negative marking. We're going to punish you more.
Which is what he kind of did. We watched him do all of that, throw the shade. And Mnisi initially objected to the testimonies of Dlamini and the other one from the Alexandra and Cleveland cases.
Yes.
He initially said, my lord, I object. I don't understand where this is going. I don't understand why linking all these other cases. And the judge is actually the one who allowed it, who said, proceed.
For the learned lawyers who always pride themselves to say they are learned and all that, and they are always arguing, some of them, wherever you find them on the platforms of Senzo case and whatnot, they couldn't actually look at that and question it. This is where the problem is. They only question if the defense flops. They never question how the proceeding. The question that should be sitting on in front of us right now is, how did the prosecutor even allow this case to, even the judges to go through?
Yes, it's a question, a specific question we need to ask ourselves. Uguti, wasn't it his duty, the judge, to ask where Baloyi was going with bringing in that case?
Yes.
Because he always asks the defense. He's
Yes.
like, what's the basis? Where are you going with this?
In fact,
but he was not interested in asking the state.
This is at the level of pre-trial. This shouldn't have went through.
No.
If you look at it,
No.
it's more like of these monkey tricks and whatnot,
No, it
where
shouldn't have.
we keep on correcting ourselves as we go. This is the issue. Oh my Lord, I can. How did the state miss that this person was at some point arrested? And in fact, probably the reason why he's there.
Convicted. In fact, he remembered his date of conviction and said was the 27th of July, 2017.
It is a duty of the state to say that, no, my Lord, this is correct. They dealt with this issue. We were wrong to bring this as in this angle.
Hi.
Because obviously that's what is happening now. We seem to be self-correcting all the time.
Now this is a mess. So the state called the next witness, Sergeant Timothy Mathebula. Matabula said that he is attached to the police station in Vosloorus. He said that he had 16 years of experience in the SAPS. Now Baloyi asked him, on the 26th of October 2014, were you on duty? And Matabula said yes, attending to complaints and patrolling. So Baloyi asked, do you know previous witnesses? And Mtetwa said, do you know the previous witness Mtetwa? And Matabula said, yes, we were on duty together on that day. We reported for duty at 6 o'clock or 6 p.m. with Mtetwa. I was the driver and Mtetwa was crew. And at 20:53, we were at the police station detaining and we received a complaint on radio control of a shooting in progress. Now, this shooting in progress, was it the only thing that was said? Shooting in progress, that's it, and you just ran. But I get that you knew where the address was, so the conversation could have been way longer than shooting in progress. But you don't want to give the details.
But obviously you don't want to, you forgot, which
forgot.
is okay. The main thing that happened is that you did go through and went to that house.
So I feel like more should have been recorded. I mean, what was the person saying as they were calling 10-111? Then Matabula said, when the complaint came through, Sergeant Mtetwa and 2 constable students, they all rushed to the shooting in progress. And they were in a marked police vehicle or a police van. So Baloyi asked, how were you dressed? And Matabula said, in police uniform. On arrival, they were pointed to the park where community members said people ran to. Now, this is a little bit of drama in it. It has some spice and some sauce in it. He said that when they got to the street, they saw people standing outside. And there was a certain lady who had a body like unomzimba. And he said that they waved at them, and said that they went there. So they were waving at the police van and they were saying, they went there, and pointed the direction towards the park.
Yes.
So also, Mtetwa opened the window and asked, what is happening there? Where are you pointing? And they went towards the direction she was pointing, to the park. They checked and saw no one and went back to the address. So that is the spice and the sauce right there of this lady.
Yes.
So on arrival, they were pointed to where the community members said people ran to. And then when they got there and found nothing and returned to the house, they said when they returned to the house, they found Kelly Khumalo's uncle, Themba Khumalo. They said they inquired from him what happened. He said Senzo had been shot.
Should we bring the twister there?
Please.
To say that it is alleged that Khumalo is in fact a policeman.
Scat.
And
IOL reported on it. And thank you to our subscriber who
brought it.
brought it. Thank you so much.
It is alleged that person is actually a police, or could be a police. And then that begs another question as to a man who's responsible for actually doing the right thing. Instead of calling the police, as in a right way, they called a relative to come and sit there. And it so happened that that person was the police. And this brings a lot of problems. And now you have to look at the allegations that Megipir could have cleaned that house. Was that in front of the very same police who was looking after the house?
Bombastic side eye.
So, which would then make this even worse. Many people were saying that, no, how do we say that
It's not the mastermind.
Why would they
was
have
not a robbery.
why would they have time to plan? How they have time to plan? But that
This is a
then brings the
twist.
question of saying, what if you have someone who knows the ins and outs of the police inside and within the family, who can really help you?
And now that IOL has brought it up, now we're going to see when Themba Khumalo comes to testify, will they be even allowed to ask what profession? Because Advocate Msholo likes to play around that area. Would there be objections like there was with knowing whether
Oh
they
yes,
had a
do
matric?
expect those objections. Do
Whether they
expect
had a
them.
matric or not, now the occupation of Themba Khumalo will be blocked.
And if
Allegedly.
you look, the issue of qualifications when someone is testifying, it's not something new. It has, in most cases, been dealt with, and rightly so. There's nothing wrong with it. I was checking some cases there. The issue of that, in fact, is dealt with by someone who's laying the basis of that witness, who's leading that witness, or not leading it is wrong, who's examining this witness. So Balo is actually supposed to bring those things, but on purpose is not bringing them so that he can object when they're brought to say, I
they're
never
brought.
questioned on this. So
Yes. Or
they never
to ask
testified.
what is the basis? What is the basis? Nani, the defense counsel shining out what is the basis? Because what is the basis actually of some of the things that are being done in that court? It feels like a time waster. It's a drag. So Baloy asked, how was the house? And Matabula said it was closed and Mr. Khumalo opened for us. Baloy asked, where did you enter? And Matabula said, through the kitchen door. It was mixed up. There were cans. It appeared as if there was a party or something. Now I picked this up. You can't just open someone's house and assume that there was a party or something. This was something.
And if that is a policeman, and that is a big if, why would they answer in that manner? To say that
They thought it was a party or
no. To say that they don't know much. People went to hospital, the people who know, and there's a problem in that actually, because the person who was with Mtetwa is actually saying that they were told that there was a shooting inside. So Mtetwa lied.
Mtetwa lied.
Is that what we are being told, that Mtetwa lied?
Mtetwa lied. According to his partner who was on duty with him at the time, Mtetwa lied.
The man is saying that we were told that there was shooting
in
inside.
progress, yes.
No, not in progress.
Or inside.
By this Khumalo
By
guy,
Khumalo.
that's Khumalo character,
Yes.
told them.
That there was shooting inside the house.
Yes. So when they went inside, they had information of what happened. But we'll deal with that. Continue.
Then Baloy asked, where did you enter? And Matabula said, through the kitchen door. It was mixed up. There were cans. It appeared as if there was a party. And Baloy asked, where did you see the cans of alcohol? And Matabula said, on the floor in the dining room. Matabula was shown exhibit pictures of cans on the screen in court. And he said, these are the cans. When we asked him what happened, he said people with information have gone to the hospital. But all he knew is that Senzo had been shot. So, udubulegile uSenzo. When we were done checking, we requested him to lock. And Baloy asked, what did you check? And Matabula said, we looked for cartridges, but when we looked, we didn't find any. This is the first time they went to that house. And they're saying they looked for
The
cartridges.
man there is, you see what I like about this one? He's clearly stating that we didn't find anything.
The first time.
In fact, we did look where you guys are pointing us, the
Yes.
exhibits now, that we did look, more so when it comes to a bullet. We did look there.
The cartridges, we looked, we didn't find any.
Yes.
And Baloy asked, did you see cans only? And Matabula said, a hat and crutches. So those are the only things he saw. He saw a hat and a crutch. Okay? Baloyi then said, where did you see them? And Matabula said, on the floor next to the sink. Baloyi asked, when did you see these hat and crutches? And Matabula said, the first time we entered, when we arrived at the hospital and at the entrance, I came across a BMW SUV. Kelly introduced herself and asked if we were there regarding Senzo's incident. At casualty, the family was sitting on the left and the sister assisted them with the information. We told her that we are here about Senzo's matter. When we entered the small room, we found Senzo lying on a stretcher facing upwards, and the sister informed us that indeed Senzo was no more. So the sister's name was Nteketho.
Sister's name is Mtetwa.
Yes.
Yes, it was Mtetwa.
Nteketho.
Yes, this is a nurse now in hospital.
Yes.
That helped to bring
police.
that where they requested that form of what do they call the form?
Declaration
of death. Yes.
So he's saying that the sister pointed to the front of his chest where there was a bullet hole. Baloyi asked, did you see it? And Matabula said yes. It then clicked that there was a scene at the back, the Khumalo house.
So this is where the problem is. And this is where I would have liked them to sit on. This man claims on his statement that they were told that there was shooting inside, which makes that area a scene.
Yes.
And then they leave, they only when they are at hospital, and then now they come back and say, oh, actually, it's a scene. But you said that you were told there was shooting inside. Isn't if there's shooting in that area, then that automatically becomes a sin, regardless of the outcomes of that shooting. Whether you miss, whether you hit someone, whether something happened, but that becomes a sin because precisely that's what you are called for.
Yes. And then maybe they were dizzy because they heard Senzo's name. I don't understand. But that should have prompted them to be even more careful, right? To treat the case even more diligently and not just...
Because
now,
it's high profile.
It's high profile. You could already get the sense that it's high profile. Why did you all need to rush to the hospital?
And it will be
after
worrisome.
being told
it will be worrisome
that there was a shooting in this house.
If indeed this Khumalo character is what they say he is, then this could be someone they know.
They were relaxed and trusting.
Do you understand?
Maybe.
Because he works probably there at Vosloorus, what.
Maybe.
And then from there, then we are going to draw a different conclusion. And a different story. It changes the character of the story. It changes everything.
The state needs to call him quick. He needs to explain himself. He said, I called a colleague so that we could rush back to the scene. We requested one person to go back with us to the house of the people sitting there at the hospital. Makhumalo volunteered to go back with us. Then we left for the house. Listen to Makhumalo volunteering to go back with the police. While on the other incident, we have a situation where Kelly Khumalo sees the cops as she's driving the BMW SUV.
And then he just reports to them.
She just stops and she gets out of her car and she's asking the police, are you here regarding the situation of my baby daddy? He has passed on. And they're like, yes, we are here regarding that. And she's like, okay, go inside. There are people who were inside the house who will tell you what happened. Why couldn't she tell them what happened?
This is the person that brought Senzo there in that house. You know, reporting as if you are reporting to Senzo's sister that probably you had a beef with at some point. Oh, by the way, yeah, you can go inside while I'm mashing on wherever I'm going.
Bombastic side eye. We can't just overlook that. You were in a position to help the police, give them whatever information you could recall. And another thing, they said that she was with a gentleman in the car. Now we have to try and find out who that gentleman is.
And probably, since we are told that our beloved Tumelo traveled with Kelly, couldn't that be the gentleman?
He denied it. He said he went into a different car.
No, what car is that?
Utumelo denied it in his testimony that he didn't leave with Bokeli in that BMW X6. He denied it. He flat out denied it. They asked him, the defense counsel. And another thing that I find troubling is that fine, they cross ways with the police. She leaves. Where was she going? Because when you hear the details eventually unfolding from the witnesses who came back with the police, when they went back, they did not find Kelly and the BMW X6 at the scene or at the house. They didn't find them. In fact, they arrived way later than everyone else. Zandi said when we got there, the house was packed with police officers. It was busy in the house. It was full. Where did they go? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. These people, were they willing to help out the police with this matter in this situation? Did they want to help? Did they want to help? Those are some of the questions. It's very shady, the stuff that we're seeing here with these testimonies.
Hence, we have brought people that we are not interested in as yet. Hence, we have brought all these people who arrested accused number 3, who come here and confuse the hell out of people. And for me, that is, according to me, what I'm seeing. It just confuses you if you are not as close to this case as we are following it. You assume a worse. You start making theories. And even, in fact, someone who's sitting there could be confused. You know?
Yes. It's very confusing.
People of interest now are around there. We are waiting for Mapiri. We are waiting for Themba now.
Yes, now Themba is becoming
now that
a person of
we are
interest.
told that it could be a police, in fact.
Sylvia Ngubeni also, whose testimony or statement that was
We are also
registered.
waiting to see if there's an additional statement because
She
the
said
order.
something interesting about the keys, the house keys, that her daughter Gugu was the one left with Senzo's phone, Tingo, and the house keys. So Uncle Themba got the house keys. Uncle Themba was found and he had the house keys because the police are saying he opened for them. They even instructed him to lock. So he got the house. How did he get a hold of those house keys? Because as far as Sylvia is concerned, they were given to her daughter. And
Do you
the
understand?
phone as well, which Colonel Lamberto Stein traced in the hospital. So, niyabona ukuthi iwishi-wishi yonke lento le. Iwishi-wishi. So we're going to unpack it. Then continuing from his evidence in chief, he said, Mr. Mathebula, he said, then we left for the house with Makhumalo. And on the way back, she informed us of what happened in the house. Upon arrival, he said that he took a tape and cordoned off the scene. He cordoned off the part of the gate.
What do you... Okay, not to even ask... What do you think of this thing of hearsays evidence? And I would ask you this question precisely because... whether it's hearsays, whether you reduce it into a statement, it could actually be regarded as hearsays, whatever that you said on that statement, in my own opinion. When someone is giving a narrative of what happened and then they reach a point of Makhumalo, the person of interest said, no, please do not. That's hearsays.
Makhumalo, is she going to testify? That's why I get objections.
But the hearsays were allowed, and I want you to look at double standards. And to me, the issue of hearsays, by the way, is basically playing the same game that this judge prided himself on, to say that you shouldn't be finding a case like you shouldn't be looking at this case and find it like as if it's a chess game. So if people are suppressed to say what they heard, what is that? Isn't that actually minimizing the information that you could actually acquire through other people and then wait for that witness to come and testify?
Because there was a part even in this testimony where when they met Kelly Khumalo and he said that she asked if they were there regarding Senzo's incident. I said yes. Just before he could continue, Baloyi said there was a discussion with her and what happened further. So he didn't want Matabula to disclose what Kelly had said further than just saying that, are you here regarding the incident?
And that is to me seemingly benefiting from that. So you go further on the other side, you say, tell us what this Joy person was doing. You know, you talked about Joyce. You wanted to tell us what things that Joyce was saying were put on record, and which is hearsays, by the way, hearsays.
It's hearsay. But it's important hearsay with some of them, especially the testimonies or the statements or the people that are going to be coming to court as witnesses. I would say that the defense perhaps needs to use this as an opportunity to probe who's coming and who's not. By just standing up and objecting. Why is it hearsay? Or objecting to say that, is this person going to be appearing as a witness or not?
Yes.
Why can't they be allowed to disclose what the person said? Is it because they're going to be appearing as a witness or not? And if they have the information, it's perfectly fine. But if they don't, because we are seeing, like with some of them, Themba Khumalo, for instance, it was announced today that he's going to be testifying.
You do understand? And there's a reason why they had to keep it for that long. Because as we know, it becomes this gag when now we are reporting on it. Because this is a character that comes with a lot of noise, basically. Because it comes, if we are told that it comes from the background of the police, it becomes a serious problem.
So upon arrival, he took and cordoned off the scene. He said, we got there and the uncle was still there. Uncle Themba Khumalo. He was still there. He opened the door for them. And as they entered, they asked Makhumalo to demonstrate what happened and where. And Baloyi asked, did she do that? And Matabula said, yes. What did you notice? Okay, before we go into that, they said that she was standing with them in the passage between the kitchen and the dining, right? That passage, and she was sort of standing and narrating or showing what was happening. That would be interesting to find a full testimony, but we can't. The pocketbooks are gone. It would have been interesting to know what was written in those pocketbooks and what Makhumalo was narrating had happened in the house. Details. So Baloyi then asked, what did you notice? And Matabula said, we checked around for cartridges. Near the head, we found a bullet projectile. We placed something to indicate that there's an exhibit there. Baloyi asked, did she relate to you? Then what happened? This is where also it was blocked.
Because this man kept on saying this, she brought us the head. She showed us the head. And then here says, please not mention that. Here says.
It's hearsay. And I wanted to know if you could remember exactly what Makhumalo was saying. You know, that's something that needs to be probed a little bit more. And he stopped it. The state stopped it and said it's hearsay. Okay, because just before then, he said, because we had called Abu Ramala so that they can come to the hospital. When they arrived, we took Makhumalo and we went back to the house with her. On the way, she explained what happened at the house. Just before he got into what she said, hearsay.
Do not say that.
Then Matabula said, answering Baloyi, did she relate to you? Then what happened? He had to move on now, and Matabula said yes. Baloyi said, we also found that the kitchen door was damaged a little bit. And Matabula said was shown a picture of the damaged door. And Matabula said as they checked, they found some blood stains in the dining room. Now on that door, he said that the bullet or the hole looked like it was from the outside, right? Coming inside. That's how he described it. And then Baloyi said, where? And he said next to the couch with regards to some of the blood stains in the dining room. Matabula said that he called the crime scene photographer. There was a short adjournment, and when they came back, Matabula said upon Zwane's arrival, they pointed out to him the exhibits that they had found. Makhumalo was then interviewed by Captain Zwane. And after a while, the photographer came and introduced themselves as Constable Mosia.
So, one thing that, for me, I think is crystal clear here is that if the defense could treat Mosia's cross-examination with the gloves and not be so harsh to him, and I'm saying this because this is a person who probably helps you a bit to navigate and break a bit of some of these things, some of the curtains on this case. You do not need to attack that man. And I will submit why.
Why?
In my humble opinion, I think if the theory of the scene being set up or could have been set up is anything to go by, is probably suffering also from that. He suffered maybe also from that. There was a long time before. This man is claiming that, in my own opinion, this man came around 9. Obviously, he's claiming that he came at 12. So, well and good. He could have, if there was anything to that theory, that whole time of restructuring and doing all these things. I do not think that this man is the man that you want to attack, but this is a man that you want to make
Collaborate.
you want to make this. It's same as this the last guy, and I'll show you the point. The last guy is a guy that you needed to treat with gloves, and more so Tumshololo. And I'm saying Tumshololo. Why am I saying Tumshololo? Because I did not like the cross-examination in Mshololo today. It was
again.
It was unnecessary there. And I'll tell you why, Amen. I'll tell you why. I'm not just gunning for him, but continue. Maybe when we reach there, then I will be showing you why I did not like it.
Okay, so Constable Mosia arrived. And Baloy said, what time did Mosia arrive? And Matabula said 11:30, just before 12. And Captain Zwane then pointed out the exhibits to him. After Mosia entered, the task team came in. And Baloy asked, what is this task team? And Matabula said, I think they were from the province. They told us we may be excused and they will be taking over. And then we stood outside for a while. Then we went back to the police station. Then we completed the docket and handed it over to the data capturer. And Baloy asked, did you go back to the scene that night? And Matabula said, no, we proceeded with other complaints.
Mtetwa lied again. Between the two of them, someone is lying again. As to why you keep on wanting to go back to that scene, God knows why. Because you were relieved from that scene, and indeed, this man is saying that we had other things to do.
We had other things to do. What did Mtetwa say? I forgot.
He went back.
He said he went back.
They went back. They went back. They doesn't remember if they actually went back to chill there.
Well, Matabula finished with his evidence in chief, and Sipho Ramasipili for accused 1 and 2 started with his cross-examination. Ramasipili said, as you interacted with the ladies who pointed to you to the park, did they say how many? And Matabula said they didn't mention the number. They just said suspects ran in that direction. And Ramasipili asked, what did you do when you arrived at the park? And Matabula said, since it was a shooting, our firearms were ready. We didn't find anything. Ramasipili asked, how long did it take you to search the park? And Matabula said, not long after seeing there was nobody there. Ramasipili asked, what did Themba Khumalo tell you about the shooting incident you responded to? And Matabula said, he said it was alleged that Senzo had been shot. Ramasipele asked, you said you asked Themba Khumalo to open for you to see. And Matabula said, we did go inside. Ramasipele asked, at the first instance, did you notice blood anywhere in the house? And Matabula said, we only saw blood when we came back for the second time. Now this troubles me.
Initially, they could have seen the
troubles my
blood before
soul.
they went there, and I swear some of their statements were actually saying that. But, well, it is alleged now that maybe they saw it when they were coming back.
For the
After you've
second
been
time.
told that there's been a shooting in that house, you went in there to check. You even say you checked where there was bullets and whatnot. You didn't see any bullet at the time. And the question is that I think that was left is, how was the door when you went in? When they opened for you on that door, was it looking intact, everything fine? Or you got in, you did not see the door? What happened to the door? And all that you had to observe when you were coming back. Which, in a sense, is why I say, precisely why I say Mshodolo's cross-examination was unnecessary.
We'll get to it. Ramasipele then asked, you made 2 statements on this incident. And Matabula said yes. The last one was on the 15th of February 2018. Ramasipele said, what was the document? Was the document read back to you? And Matabula said he read it. And Ramasipele asked, and you signed it? And Matabula said yes. In paragraph 4, you say Themba was on his way out of the house and informed us Senzo was shot inside the house. Now, I think it was a little bit longer than this. Yes. Themba Khumalo further informed us that Kelly, together with other victims, took Senzo to the hospital in Botsilong. Themba told us that only the people in the house know what happened and we're all at the hospital. We entered the house. I noticed blood stains on the floor in the house, and it was in an untidy state. So on the statement, you notice that blood on the first instant. And Matabula
Exactly.
maintained that he saw blood on the second.
Contradicting what was said on an additional statement. And this man is a policeman. You cannot now claim that I did not read that. He, in fact, attests to that. He read that he was satisfied, in fact. He put a signature. As Ramasipele was laying the basis and the foundation of the statement before he started indulging on what was inside that statement.
And the statement was done by, is it Mataladiso?
Yes.
Yes, it was done by Ramakosi Mataladiso.
Ramakos, that's all I
So
put
that's
in.
another police that did it with Sergeant Mathebula at the time, 2018. He wishy get
Now
left.
the man comes and debunk what you said on that statement. An
All of
additional
them.
statement where you had time.
We are now having another witness who's not aligning with their statement. They
As the judge would do with your hand, you are moving in that direction of a judge.
Ramasipele then said, did you, for the first time, cordon off the scene? And Matabula said no. Ramasipele then asked, how did you remain at the hospital? And Matabula said it was not, how long did you remain at the hospital? He said it was not a long time. And Ramasipele asked, was Makhumalo accompanied by anyone when you went back to the scene? Matabula said it was only her. And I'm saying... Ramasipele said, but Ntabiseng Mukiti said
Our
she,
beloved.
our beloved.
He knows how to throw shade subliminal.
Subliminal shade. She said she left with Makhumalo and the police back to the scene. Matabula said, I only remember Makhumalo. Wow. And what I'm saying, yeah, ne? And I felt it. I felt it somehow. her story is too different. There's too many things that are different. But it's fine. At the hospital, Matabula did not interview Longwe Twala, Mtogosisi Twala, Zandile Khumalo, and Tumelo Madlala. Ramasipele asked, you say the second time you went to the house, you said you saw a projectile. Yeah. Ntabiseng Mokete. Not Ramasipele calling her our favorite person here in court. Testified in court that as she went to the kitchen to fetch water to drink, she told us that she's the one who saw the projectile and pointed it out to you, Matabula. I don't know about that, Matabula said. He doesn't know about that. Ntabiseng was so sure that as she went to the kitchen, she saw something like a silver. A metal nyan, something nyan. She even said she lifted it up. Did she not say that? And showed it to the police? Did she not say that? Am I hallucinating? Am I going crazy? Guys, am I losing my mind? Besides the projectile, there's no other evidence that they found, and they did not find search on the cupboard. Ramasipele's evidence, Ramasipele then said, evidence has been led in this court that Mapiri cleaned the scene before you arrived. Any comment? And Matabula said no comment. Then Ramasipele was done. Advocate Charles Mnisi for accused number 3 was up next. Now Mnisi requested for the photo of the kitchen to be beamed. Now, Mnisi said your testimony is that you searched in the house with a view to try and find out if you'd be able to find other cartridges, as you had been informed that this is a shooting scene. If there are other cartridges and you could not find any, Akiri they'd been informed after by Khumalo, by Uncle Themba, that this shooting happened. And they said they went inside the house. So Advocate Mnisi is asking with regards to that. And then Matabula said that on their first visit, they searched around, including the kitchen cupboard and the sink. And they didn't see any cartridges. Even on the sink, they searched and they didn't find anything. Note that, guys. This is the highlight.
Yes, it was a good catch for Ramusibet, which is also followed up by Mnis, if you would notice later. Followed up by Mnis nicely confirming that indeed, from their first search, with a bullet that was, as you could see before we went to Novo, as we could see that the bullet could actually be visible. It was almost at the center of the door, between the door and the kitchen. Clearly, it was not something hiding.
And another one was on the kitchen cupboard.
Yes.
We still haven't forgotten the exhibit.
We still remember from Tino. Yes. We can't take that away. So I'm thinking they are still using the same exhibits.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
So to say now you come back from the house as a policeman who was actually searching after being told that there was a shooting in the house, and now you come back now all of a sudden, God willingly has just decided to bless you without having to look that much with a bullet in the middle of the kitchen, almost in the middle of the kitchen.
And I have a serious problem with Makhumalo Komba ring, like, how I wish they just did their work. You understand? I wish that was the case. Because even something that I even forgot to mention with regards to the hat, she actually picked it up. She picked up that hat and said it belonged to one of the intruders. Why did she feel the need to tell the police that? She could have just let them work.
Do their work.
I have a serious problem with the contact.
You could have explained that actually they were wearing a hat.
Yeah, you could have explained that one of them was wearing a hat. There was no need for you to pick it up and be like, this is one of the hats. This is one of what is happening?
Even go further as to say, actually the person was it yesterday when you said the person actually passes?
Sylvie Yangubeni's statement said, that person with the hat, I know them. They usually pass by the street. And Sylvia was like, I did not know what hat she was talking about. The obsession with the hat.
And then you come back and you spoon feed it. Continue.
Hi man, this is worrying. It's troubling. Then Advocate Zitulele Khumalo had no questions. Now it was Advocate Mshololo's turn to cross-examine. She started off by asking, what do you know? What is the purpose and intention of securing the crime scene? And Matabula said to get exhibits and information. Mshololo said, to secure the crime scene, do you know what that means? And Matabula said, yes. Cordon off with tape and guard the scene. Mshololo asked, did you guard the crime scene after inspecting and leaving to the hospital? And Matabula said no, because we didn't find anything.
Good. Good. The guy is answering.
So Matabula said that they didn't secure the crime scene because the first time they were at the house, they didn't find anything, no cartridges. Question mark.
Leave on that. Exactly that. Why? Do you see the problem that I had with Mshololo's questioning today?
Yeah.
She's more focused on the profession of this person and the manner in which the procedure that was not followed. This person is giving you.
Make you win your
this person, you can only deal with such things. And this is my thinking. You can only deal with such things if the person is being difficult with certain information that you are looking.
Yes.
The information that you are looking for is that there was no bullet in that area. And what more do you want?
She closed it up, and I feel like she shouldn't even have touched it. She should have found another angle to question.
Or she could have just let this
probe more on the demeanor and behavior of Makhumalo. Maybe that's what they...
Oh, no. You don't need to stand up all the time. Why is it that Khumalo and Mnisi and Ramusipedi, they understand when not to stand up?
So she should have said this one
She could have said this one out. Once now we are starting, because she goes further. Look, this is where it got into me. She goes further to say that, so you couldn't see it at the first time. You only saw it when you were coming back. Sort of now assuring that, yes, it was there. Because that is what now we are saying, in a sense. In my mind, as a judge, if I was to sit there, I'm listening to your line of questioning. You are basically admitting that, okay, it was there. The guy is telling you it was not there. Take that and say thank you.
Harry, you did not look properly.
What?
You just cancelled.
Everything that Ramsipede and Mnis have done.
I even saw Ramusibili's body language today when Mshololo, he was like... His body language, I need to post that picture. He was very disturbed when Mshololo was cross-examining. He was like, oh...
So now we are giving them a chance to actually... It's like we're giving them a chance to rectify and consolidate and make their story sound a bit, okay, it's my mistake. Maybe I didn't check properly, but the bullet was there.
That explains even why the re-examination of Baloyi was not even that long.
Because you have almost done the re-examination for Baloyi. Yes.
You did damage.
Why did you need to ask those questions?
Why does it feel like every time we praise Mshololo, somehow...
No, it's not about praising Mshololo. I'll tell you the truth.
What is happening? I don't understand.
Every time Mshololo takes that direction of being firm, she almost blunders most of the time.
She was so calm.
When she was calm, she was able to dissect and get information and look at that information and deal with it at hand. This guy goes further to even say that if evidence, I wrote it down in Zulu, said if ngizitholile ngiyazibona akekho umuntu ongitshengisile, then I cordon the scene. The guy is saying that's manner. He's giving you another manner after you blundered.
So what was the manner there?
He's saying that the guy is literally saying that if I was not shown these things, if I'm the one who found these things, so basically the next question would be, so you are saying you are not the one who found these things, so you needed to be shown for you to see them, right? Do you understand? In a smooth. Now, if you
manner,
go on the
not
issue,
in a fighting manner. These are Zulu men.
you understand Zulu.
They are Zulu men. They are Zulu men.
You see, the problem is like Mtetwa. If you are dealing with a Zulu man, and not to say that not everyone does that, but if you are dealing with a Zulu man, most of us are stubborn. And once you show that you are stubborn, we are going to give you back that stubbornness. Our answers, did you hear the answers of Mtetwa? How they were?
Yes, Mtetwa is stubborn. We even saw before the novel. Mtetwa is,
Do you understand?
hostile.
You need to be softer to these people. Show that
You are not fighting.
you are not fighting and actually you are not against
Don't
them.
make them put their guard up.
You need to understand
Because
the
you
people
need
you are
them. As much as you think that they did not do their job properly,
You need them.
accusing them is not going to help you. You need them so that they can prove that your clients were not there. They had nothing to do with that wishy-wishy that was happening in that house.
And welcome Emil, help me here.
I cannot see.
Welcome Ramutiba. Yeah. I almost said Ramusipa.
Zama.
Ramutiba.
Zama, try pronouncing it.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So there, I couldn't even finish listening to Msholo's cross-examination. I was taken back. I was like, why? You could have just let that thing go. Next witness, thank you. You know?
It's okay. Some of them you don't need.
Some of them you don't need to.
Your client is not implicated that much.
Do you understand?
You can sit it out. I respect Khumalo for sitting most of them out.
Because next thing is gonna come.
Even his client is not implicated.
Yes.
Yet.
Yes.
There's no bringing up of Khumalo's client yet. He's just helping and assisting. And when he comes, he always comes with a different angle. He doesn't repeat what Ramosipili asked. He doesn't repeat what Mnisi asked. He comes with a different angle that he feels maybe they didn't cover it. So I wish Mshololo could, get with the program.
I was so... That's the thing, and this is dangerous. I could predict how Mshololo was going to ask the questions. And before she was standing up, I was praying that don't...
Go overboard, don't be aggressive.
No, don't ask those questions that you asked, because this is almost a repetition of what was asked by... No, what was asked on Mtetwa.
Oh yes.
Do you understand?
Did the same strategy and approach, yes.
So I was saying, don't just leave this one out, because even check Nisi just stood up to confirm.
2 questions.
One question actually. So initially you checked, you could not find anything, and the guy repeats what he said on this. No,
I didn't find
enough. That's all I wanted. You couldn't find anything. Then we are casting what we call suspicions of this data being planted. That's all you need. Now you go further to say, but you went in the house, and then when you came back, you were able to see these things, and to see these things, or you were shown these things. That's the line of questioning was just out of line, man. It was just out of line, and it didn't even need Balo to re-examine. It was like, you've done the re-examination. Yes.
He was very happy. Mshololo then said, do you identify the head, the crutches, cans as exhibits? And Matabula said they became exhibits after we came back from the hospital. He says that they didn't regard the head, the crutches as exhibits on their first visit. They became exhibits when they came back with the lady, and she told them that those items were. Okay. So Mshololo asked the projectile, did you see for the first time when you came back from the hospital? Where did it come from? And Matabula said it's like Umama Khumalo told them that there was a shooting. So they checked, and when they checked, they found the projectile. Mshololo then said, so for the first time, where you didn't get a proper look. Now this is where she offered it.
Listen to the question there.
So the first time you didn't get a proper look because you didn't see the bullet projectile. I had a serious problem with this question because I'm like,
I just got a heartburn from that question. I was
how
like,
are you asking this question in this manner? You could have left it with you didn't see properly, but leave that part out. Leave that you didn't see properly, but leave it out. Or don't ask the question at all. Don't ask it at all. Let the witness say it themselves. They haven't said anything like that yet. After 2 defense counsels cross-examined them, they didn't say that I didn't see properly. Did Matabula mention that he didn't see properly?
No.
So why did...
No.
Matabula said we didn't see it. Then Mshololo said, what are the duties of crime prevention police officer? And Matabula said it's to prevent crime. Now you are at the scene. This is Mshololo. Did you prevent any further crime from happening at the crime scene first time when you arrived at the crime scene? Now this is more of an attack question. And
do you understand? Do you understand my
position?
position?
Attack these people.
Yes. They were
no
not...
need.
One thing that you must put in, they were not in that house, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
These people, whatever that they might have, or you might think that they've done, it has to do with an after. It's an after effect.
Yes.
So those are people that you want to make feel comfortable, as much as some of them could lie for some weird reason or whatever reason. I don't know if you think that some of them might lie, but you must find a way of making them say things like there are.
But they are giving you clues. in
And
how
once,
they answer.
yes, and
They
once you
giving
are
you something.
Once you are pompous about it, when you are saying it, you ignore the answers they give you and the clues they give you. They don't click at the right time because you are not in the relaxed state.
Yes.
You are just prepared to answer this, to ask these questions, and you want them to be answered the way you want them to be answered, and you ignore what could be a follow-up question and a nice comeback for you. So that's what is happening. That's why I'm saying all the time, relax. This is not a war.
Shololo needs to
Relax.
Your
And when you were
version-
relaxed, you were able to do proper follow-up questions. Most of your good test or your good cross-examination happened when you were relaxed. I'm giving you now. This is after we called you out on the first one, second one, where you were
Go back
more
to being
pumped
calm.
up. Go back to
being calm, please, because these witnesses, the ones you had today, even Mosia,
Mosia is also like that.
you will need to be patient. Don't attack Mosia like you did the last time before Dinova. Please. Relax.
Just relax. Calm down. Ask your questions. Like
Move
Nisi.
with
You
him.
see, Nisi is a good example because Nisi
Yes.
listens. As you answer, he's not expecting you. Yes, he's expecting an answer, but your answer, he's ready for you when you give a contradicting answer or something
To
that is gonna need a bit of elaboration. And he pauses you if you are being unnecessarily long, and then he says, "No, I'll come back to that," and he does come back to give you a chance. This is the time. This is a strategy. This is the time where if he comes back for you to actually now say more, you are giving him a chance to even look at the loopholes of things that he didn't prepare for, but now we are giving voluntarily, and then from there you build your questioning. So the problem is that you could not pick these things up, and you also could not read the room because your fellas, your people that you are working with in this case had already laid the proper foundation and in fact almost closed everything. So all you needed to do was to sit down and let this one go.
Yeah, and I have no further cross-examination, my lord. It could have sufficed because your Matabula said it had already happened, and Mshololo says, "Did you condone the crime scene when you first arrived?" And Matabula said, "No." Now these are more attack questions. There was no need for these questions, in my opinion. And then he said, "You further testified that it was upside down inside the house as if there had been a party." And Matabula said, "I saw with dishes in the kitchen." So the dishes showed you that there had been a party. And Matabula said, as well as those 2 or 3 cans. Now, this is where I felt like this did not go well. What I needed more of is for Matabula to elaborate on why he concluded that there had been a party, or it looked like it had been a party. Besides the dishes, what else did you see? And not really like be ahead of him and remind him of the cans. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I feel like she shouldn't have hinted at the cans. He should have just let him relax and think about what he saw that made him think that there was a party in this house.
More so, I believe that you know when not to question. You probably are smart enough not to know not to question. So if you are going to come with a certain to a certain person that direction, you let those people add more sauce in whatever that. Yes. So if we are failing, if you feel that you might fail to do that, then don't disturb the food that has been dished and cooked. Yes. and everything is done. All that was waiting for is eating, which is now you building your arguments around it.
Because now when she asked, so the dishes show that there had been a party. It sounds like an attack. It sounds like you're condescending me. You're making me feel small. And obvious, you're not going to get what you want. It was very simple. Can you tell us what you saw in that house for you to say that there was a party? I mean, you think, Mabantu, when people are happy and there has been a party, the scene is a mess, right? There's a lot going on. So what are some of the things that you noticed that were happening, or that you noticed that told you that begumnandila beziwala, there was a party here? No, there was no need to sound so condescending and aggressive and oh my God. So then continuing forth, she said, so that told you there had been party because there were 2 cans. Again, it sounded like an attack. And Matabula said, we thought so.
But also you are reducing your room of maneuvering by you throwing those a 2 bit of shades.
Leave them alone. And
you
the
understand,
shadiness.
you are limiting yourself, because now you are sort of giving them the something to stand on while we are kind of throwing them under the bus. They will defend themselves.
They go into defense mode.
Being a lawyer does not mean that you are some psychologist that can make me tell the truth. They will defend themselves.
Yes.
These people, they know they deal with these things every day. More so the police.
Yes.
So you need to calm down.
Every day. So what was your years of experience at the time of the incident? Again, Matabula said 6 years as a qualified constable. So Mshololo said, when you went to the hospital, why didn't you separate among the 4 of you others to remain at the crime scene? And Matabula said they were students. And Mshololo asked, why didn't you separate with Mtetwa? And Matabula said that never came to us. Makhumalo is the one that you were busy with in the kitchen. Were there other family members, Ntombi Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, at the time? And Matabula said that he just took the mama from the hospital. So it means that they were left behind at the hospital. But didn't you say you came across them at the gate? That would have been a nice follow-up question. And not necessarily to want to know where they are, but to frame it more differently. I felt like there was also a lot more. There was a lot more spice that she could have worked with. But the approach, because it was so aggressive, she couldn't get much. She couldn't get much of what she needed to prove that actually these people were unwilling to work with the police. And that's the direction she needed to take. So were there any other people inside the house? And Matabula said no. Mshololo repeated that Ntabiseng was in the kitchen and testified that she's the one who informed them about the projectile that was lying on the floor. And Matabula said that he does not remember her. Makhumalo picked up the hat and said that it had been worn by the suspects. They told her to put it down and it was worn by the suspects. Mshololo then asked, did you record in your statement that the hat had been touched by Makhumalo? And Matabula said no. Okay, this one was also an important fraction because Mosia that is Mosia's ankle. So she covered this one well. I don't have complaints about it. So Mshololo then asked why, because it amounts to tampering. And then Matabula said, I didn't think about that. Mshololo asked, did you inform Constable Mosia that the head had been touched? And Matabula said no. Mshololo asked, so it means Mosia was also misinformed about the members who attended the crime scene first. And Matabula considered that he didn't tell Constable Mosia that Makhumalo touched the head. She said it belonged to one of the suspects. And the judge was a little bit agitated while she was asking this question, because he finally said something and he said, you can't say he was misinformed, rather say he was ill-informed. Misinformed means that they told Mosia something else. Now this is the spirit that comes with being aggressive. This is the spirit, Mshololo, that you need to tone down a bit, because you're having a conversation with these people. You are deciphering information, right? That could help you prove your case or prove your arguments. Then Mshololo says, did Makhumalo, well, she did take it back and said ill-informed. And Mshololo asked, did Makhumalo at any stage tell you a cell phone was robbed in that house? And Matabula said, yes, if I'm not mistaken, she said Kelly's phone was taken. Mshololo asked, did you write that in your statement? And Matabula said, no. Mshololo was done with the cross-examination. Advocate George Baloyi went on re-examination, and one question that particularly stood out for me was the time when he asked, at what point did it click to you that it was a crime scene? And Matabula said, when we saw Senzo lying on the stretcher facing up in the hospital. And the judge asked, just tell me for my information, were you ever told that there were other projectiles or cartridges or tracings which were found on the scene after you and your colleague searched, as you say? And Matabula said, no. I believe that you searched. Did you have any idea that a bullet can ricochet on a normal surface? Okay, Matabula said yes. Did you check for that? And Matabula said, we checked that we saw the damage on the door. Did you check the ceiling or any holes of ricocheting bullets? And Matabula said, we checked. That's good. And Matabula said, we didn't find anything. Mshololo stood again and asked, you said you checked the holes? And Matabula said, yes. So she asked that the hole at the door, did you check in that hole if there was any exhibit? And Matabula said they looked. And Mshololo asked him to describe the hole, what type of hole it was, and if he can still remember. And Matabula said it was damaged. And you're sure that inside you couldn't see anything? And Matabula said no. So Sergeant Mathebula was done with his testimony. So another witness was expected to be called at 2 p.m. and that witness was Sergeant Thabo Mosia. Sergeant Thabo Johannes Mosia, Warrant Officer now. Got a promotion. Lala. The rank just went up. The rank went higher. Mosia requested to go through his examination in English, which I found very, very surprising. Guys, were you not shocked by Mosia? Mosia was like, my lord, I want English. And then I will go to, with my cross-examination, I will handle it differently. He didn't say what language he's going to use, but we are going to assume it's Sesotho. But with the examination, he wanted English. So currently, he is attached to a local criminal center in Secunda, stationed at Standerton Satellite Service point of SLRC. Is it SLCRC? Assumed duty in that office on the 1st of June this year, and also elevated to the rank of warrant officer on the same day, 1st of June 2023. He got to be moved from Springs, Ntontoni, and to Standerton, and he's a warrant officer now. Congratulations to him. So I was never ready for him reading his own affidavit. He actually read his own affidavit. He said, "I am a constable, official draftsman, forensic field worker, video operator, and photographer in the South African Police Service. I am stationed at the Criminal Record Crime Scene Management Springs." In his affidavit, Mosia said that he was a constable in 2014, and he said that on 27th of October 2014 at midnight, 20 past 12, he attended to a scene at Kutwanong Street, and he met Brigadier Ndlovu, who pointed out places for him to take photographs. Okay. And then I laughed when I heard that part where he said he considers the oath to be binding to his conscience, and Balo is like conscience. Did you catch that?
I did. You can never.
I was like, what is going on? Why is Mosia now speaking English? Mosia, we are used to him testifying the last time. I was never ready for the English, honey. I was not ready. Then the date was the 31st of October in which he did this affidavit, 2014. Mosia says that he took photos at the crime scene. And Baloyi asked him.
Guys, let us like the video, please. See, we're 700 here. We only have 300 likes, guys. Can you please like the video? Maybe put it on 5 or so. Let us like the video. I'm not going to disturb anything, but just let us like the video.
We're still begging for likes, guys. Nothing has changed. Like the video. Then Baloyi asked him if he wanted to sit down, and he said no, because he's not yet okay. He feels, if he feels like sitting down, he will sit down. So he went through the photos, and he said that these are the photos of the house, the kitchen door, the bullet jacket, fragment of the bullet hole, hat, walking stick, and a crutch. So Mosia says that on the 26th of October, he was on standby duty as crime scene investigator responsible for, among others, Vosloorus, Zonke Zizwe, Reiger Park, and Dawn Park SAPS policing area. And at 11:45 p.m. on the 26th of October, he received a call about an incident in Vosloorus. Brigadier Ndlovu was the requester. He reported a robbery crime scene, and he explained that the soccer star, just before he could continue saying anything, Baloyi said, "You don't have to disclose the content." And Mosia said he was not in possession of an address. He says, "I went to Vosloorus police station from my home and inquired about the crime scene." So Mosia was not given the address by Brigadier Ndlovu, and he says that was the case. He actually waited at the hospital. He said client service center communicated with the police van, and he departed there to the hospital where he was to meet with the police van there, which would take him to the crime scene. So at about 20 past 12, this is after midnight on the 27th of October 2014, he says, "I arrived at the scene. The police tape was placed across the open gate of the front wall. There on my arrival, I introduced myself to the police officers on the scene. I met Brigadier Ndlovu when I arrived." And Baloyi asked, "Who showed you the various points?" And Mosia says there were more than one police officers there. Police were participating together, but the person who confirmed my processing of the scene was Brigadier Ndlovu. He said that he conducted a walkthrough of crime scene and observed on the kitchen floor there was a walking stick, Scotch hat, and a bullet fragment or jacket on the floor. He also marked the damaged door. He says, "I then contacted my duty officer, the late Captain Mathebula, explaining to him the crime scene. And he suggested we must utilize the provincial crime scene management. He says, I then continued with the crime scene to protect the exhibits on the floor. I took photographs of the house and exhibits and where the exhibits were found. I packaged the exhibits and waited for the task team to arrive so that we can process the crime scene together. I was on standby for 4 police stations on that day. While I waited for the task team, I got a call about a business robbery in Zonkizizwe and an arson incident in Vosloorus. I guess the good thing that came out of his testimony is the fact that yesterday when Advocate Khumalo was abruptly stopped to say that he can't do what, when he was talking about the time that Mosia arrived, which was, he had estimated it to be after 11:30. And yet Mtetwa's statement today, it says that it was done at 10:30. So how did he do it if Mosia hadn't arrived and shown them the exhibits? So I guess that's the good thing, where Mosia has now confirmed himself that actually I arrived at 12:20 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
So he says, I reported to the senior officer on the scene and explained the reason for me to leave the crime scene, who was Brigadier Ndlovu. I had to leave and handed the crime scene back to them and went to attend to crime scenes in Zonkizizwe. The exhibits were with me in the car. Now he said that he had to attend an arson case at Zonkizizwe or something like that. He said, I came back to the crime scene and waited for the crime scene management team to arrive. They arrived with the late Captain Matabula. Mosia says he can't remember the time he returned to the scene. He can only remember the time he left. And the pocket book, he also can't find it. But it may have been between 6, but he had left it at around 1:30 a.m. So he was about there for estimation an hour. He does not know when the crime scene management team arrived. He thinks they are the ones who wrote it down themselves. And Mosia said that the task team arrived, they had a debriefing. He explained to them what was happening or what happened and what he had done. Then they conducted a walkthrough into the crime scene and they started processing the crime scene himself. And Warrant Officer Mosia and Colonel Matiza and Captain Mathebula and Captain Zwani were also there. And then there was a short comfort break. Advocate Baloyi said that the witness can't stand for too long. He's got a back problem. So Mosia then proceeded after that short adjournment, and he said that they proceeded to processing the crime scene. And Baloyi asked exactly what, and Mosia said, we began with the investigation and I was responsible for the collection, packaging and processing of all the exhibits for the forensic science laboratory. And Colonel Mhlahlo was responsible for taking pictures. What? Colonel Mhlahlo was the one taking pictures. What was Mosia doing? Wasn't he also taking pictures?
From last time I heard, is the one who was dealing with the pictures.
Before Dinovo, right? So now Colonel Mhlahlo is the one who was taking pictures. Wow. He says, I will be using Colonel Mhlahlo's photo album when I give evidence. Before Dinovo.
Maybe that's a bit closer to what indeed took place.
After completing the scene investigation, he says, I took all the exhibits to my office in Springs. I will use Colonel Mhlahlo's photo album to testify. After completing with our investigation, I took all the exhibits to my office in the Criminal Records Center at Springs. But as your official designation is a forensic field worker, that's correct, he said. And Baloyi said, when you process the crime scene, was it the order that you follow in locating forensic exhibits? Now, he says the order is in this manner. He said they begin by first investigating for touch DNA to avoid contamination. It's the fact that he came at 20 past when there was so much movement. And then he speaks about avoiding contamination. Oh my God. And we follow with any other forensic exhibits. Lastly, they would investigate for fingerprints. Mosia talked about how swabs were taken from different parts of the house. Mosia went through swabs collected at different parts of the house. I even heard him mentioning the door of the bedroom, the door of the bathroom, the door. He says he took fingerprints and took swabs from there. So we will see as he continues to testify if that actually took place. Well, at least Tumelo was able to verify that something was tested on him. He said they put swabs in his mouth or something like that. What was the reason without gun residue tests? What was the reason?
Right.
You know, Mosia surprised me today. He sounded more eloquent and more. I was like, wow. Okay, something definitely happened since Dinovo. He sounded more packaged. Am I lying, guys? I'm not lying. He sounded more together in his cross-examination. But then he also went through photos of the evidence bags. I'm not going to go through them because I was not seeing what was happening. I was just hearing photo number 21. Actually, they don't want us to see the exhibits. So apparently someone said that for them not to be allowed to see the exhibits is because they don't want the other witnesses who are still going to appear. So I don't know how true that is. But part of the main reason why is because there are other people who are still going to testify.
We have
they don't
already
want
seen
them to
these
have
things. They can go back to previous
visuals.
SABC case and find these things.
Angas, Mina, I stop here. The photo number, what of the...
So guys, this is the
IDs?
time where you like first the video and then you can call. Right, Emil?
Yeah. Please like the video. How many likes do we have?
I count 300 so far.
And there's 700 people watching.
Yes.
Guys, don't be stingy with those likes. Just press the like button. Kandin. Press. We are going to beg you for likes. We are going to beg on this channel. We are begging you. Please press the like button so that we can open the lines and let you have your say and let you have your opinion. What did you see? What did you notice?
And the rule of 1 minute
The
remains.
rule of 1 minute still
And then what you
remains.
say, guys, remember, keep it to this case.
Amagama ayabiza.
Confined to this case. No names.
No names.
No names. More so of those big people that you want to say something to or send
drag
a
into
message to.
this. No.
We will drop the call if you do that out of respect.
Yes. We can't be doing that. We are grown. We are grown people, okay? So we can't be going around doing that as if we have proof or we are going to back it up. No, we can't. We can't. It's a rumor. Or it's a nasty rumor.
Someone on WhatsApp is saying that Emily Pella is warrant officer, so he's make sure now. this is make sure.
I was like, who is this? Is this the same Mosia? Is this the same person who testified? We want to know. He was well packaged. He even read his own statement. It was very, very, very interesting. It was very interesting. So guys, also call in to let us know what you think about Uncle Themba Khumalo being a police officer, allegedly, according to IOL. What is this going to do? What is this saying? Why? Yeah. Havana Lindaba is very serious.
Right, Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Niyaphila.
Siyaphila njani?
Nikhona nami. No, I'll be very much short. Ulindani lo from Mpumalanga.
Yeah, my friend.
Yeah.
Mr. Anonymous, I'm glad that I'm not the only one who saw that Advocate Shololo was the road to the witness. I noticed that yesterday, even today, I mean, I don't want to lie. I was pissed off by her cross-examination today. The way he posed the question to the witness. Now for me today, I uflope kakhulu, and ngiyavuma ukuthi vele ufuna ngathi ayina yena, and lenda
my God. Can you please repeat what you said?
No, I'm saying like even with the former counsel that were representing the accused. She was doing the, and I feel like she wants to be praised or whatever the case may be. I was pissed by and that there's nothing beyond that.
Thank you for calling. And to affirm also Mr. Anonymous's frustration. Even I felt a little bit frustrated today. I was like, Shalala, what are you doing? Please stop, please sit down. The only part I felt impressed she did well is the DNA fingerprint situation.
There is like takeaways there where you can see.
Maybe she should have just asked that and left everything else. There was no need for all these other, because you just rearranged Ramasipele's hard work in a manner of like 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, so I will let this chance fly by. We don't need to go long if there's no
one calling.
I think probably that is us covering everything. Let me read this. I think Baloi. I think Mshololo may suffer from self-importance syndrome. Yes, someone is saying that on WhatsApp, and so guys, if there's no one who's willing to call today, that's an early night for me.
Yeah, and another thing is, how do you feel about there was no proposal of, but then they say they are not the ones who take the statements, it's actually the detectives. So I wish they would have written down something with their interaction with Kelly Khumalo, a statement or something, but then they said that the only thing they had was a pocketbook. That pocketbook was so important.
Mzansi, hello. All right.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say hi, Mr. Anonymous, and hi, Emily.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I don't have much to say about today because I listen while I'm doing work, but I absolutely love your takes, and I stay up late at night to listen.
Thank you.
I mean, great. I mean, my take with the case is, again, it's always going to be what you can prove. And it is so hard when you've got the judge who literally works against the defense and he's like the second, Baloy. But I guess in a way, the need has to be that there has to be so much of a proof that this did not happen. Yes. And, sometimes things have to happen the way they do and we get upset.
Yes.
So and so, but I think it's the hardest classroom to be in that courtroom. But that's my take. But thank you so much for your take. I need to come off my call so I can listen to the rest of the program.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Hey, Connor, it's tough. I cannot imagine being in that kind of pressure. Being in that courtroom can't be easy. Hey.
Yeah, it should be difficult.
Yeah, it can't be easy.
So you need to deal with a lot of things that go through that court. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, yourself.
I'm all right.
Yeah, I've been following the proceedings here.
Yes.
Yeah, I also felt I should also add my view. Basically, what I see, what has happened, if we check on the testimony of Zandi from the 25th of October,
Yes.
I think lapha community eyenzakele before the actual thing. Because mawuthi uyamamela testimony yakamthokozisi uthi bebabuya estadium ne and then uzandi uthi bebabuya estadium umthokozisi uthi yena bebabuya ku-event
Kelly.
So asiyeke leyo mawubheka la umthokozisi athi uyokafika eMalbertine undoda ihamba nomfazi of which according to defense bebacabanga ukuthi ulonga athazanga mbona. So mina ngokubona kwami lapha ulonga usho ukuthi uyombona umthoko that day and uzandi bekumele maybe since bebazona no ulongo since bekazona nozana yes. So into engiyibonayo ukuthi the following day mawuthi alandelisisa kahle umthoko uthi mabasuka kule event ya ukuperforma noKid badlula eWimbi bathola ukudla angisho eWimbi. So now if baye badla eWimbi, I don't think uSenzo uyowathengela ukudla for yena noKid nomthoko uthengele wonke umuntu emotweni. So the only reason ukuthi what was the reason ukuthi baye endlini bayoweva ilunch ukuthi endleleni baye badla ukudla. So now ingibusele entweni ukuthi umuntu ubika dinga ukudla mhlambe singasho ukuthi bekutumela since atravele indlela engaka ne. So into engibona ukuthi yenzakele la since ulongwe mhlambe uyabona umthoko previous day hence baba travel uye wahamba wayoshintsha impahla mhlambe umfanise ngempahla the following day masekafika laphana Khabokhe besikalwa naye umthoko ukuthi la ngibhazisile previous day because of umuntu ogcoke kanje hence uyowaya kushintsha lapha i-commotion yacabanga ukuthi mina isuke lapho njengoba kwenzakala lento and into engayitholisisi kahle ukuthi ulongo bekahamba nobani labantu abaphuma emotweni yize a chance ukuthi mhlambe khona abantu bekahamba nabo laba abathema ukuzo makuzokala amaganjoni baphuma emotweni babale.
Okay, yeah, no siyayizi your siyabonga mfethu.
Okay,
siyabonga.
Ngithi ngifuna ukuyibeka lapho and other question abangayibuzi futhi abumshoro ukuthi leya moto ebomvu isuke nini lapha. Nonthabi senginayo le moto ebomvu maka testify uyibone isuka nini lapha. Because how can you run away start imoto kunabantu endlini then bathule labo bantu lapha.
Yeah, no asibonga mfowethu sesikuphe kwaze weqa.
Siyabonga.
Ibambe lapho.
Thank you. Right, the number is let me call it out for you. You know, the funny thing is I don't know if you want. I think the better one is a cell phone 071 153 7006. That's the number if you want to call 071 153 7006.
So think about it. Makhumalo doesn't call the police, but she called her brother, who's a police.
Let's say
Allegedly.
they called their brother because we don't know who called the brother.
Allegedly.
They called the brother.
And they couldn't call the police. Think about it.
Maybe they were satisfied that they called the right police.
No 10-111. No dialing 10-111. Malume is 10-111.
Yep. Yep. Right. Here's the number. Thank you, Tobeka D. Put it properly. And yes. So if you want to call, you can call. Let me answer this one. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Right. It happens. Mzansi, hello.
Hey, Ntombi, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I think we have a big problem as South Africans. If you look at these police officers who have been testifying in this case, and you wonder how many other cases are they involved in, and was this the type of evidence they gave to those cases, how many people were convicted,
Yeah.
and that's a serious worry for me. That's a serious worry. That, I mean, is this the best we have? But also, another big concern is people in the house. All of them called everybody else except the police and the ambulance. Now we find out they called the uncle to come and look after their house, and nobody decided to call the police. I think that's gonna be another big issue, because I mean the defense needs to like stand on that. They called everybody else. Somebody called his girlfriend, called people in Durban. Nobody thought of calling the police and the ambulance. Yeah, no, thank you guys. I just wanted to say that today.
Thank you.
And I am even questioned for thinking like this, because some people were like, the police in South Africa, hi guys. Hi guys, no. Like, someone is shot and you would call everyone else except for the police.
Zanzi, hello.
Hello, Anonymous and Emery.
Hi.
I say.
This issue here, there were seven people inside the house. I'm not buying that story, because Mtetwa said when Kelly approached him, he was with another guy inside the car. Who's that guy?
Who is that guy?
And Vaseline just disturbed Mtetwa to continue.
Yes. Yes.
No, this thing of saying there were 7 people inside the house, I'm not buying that story. There was a lot of, maybe there was 10 or 9.
That's your suspicion.
Yes, I think Longo Tola came with other 2 guys.
Yes.
He didn't came alone.
No, we hear you.
Might be on to something.
No, thanks, Emily and Anonymous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because we're still trying to figure out the car, how it moved.
Right.
We don't have an answer for
No. And when the police do come, the most useless of the lot come. So fishy, we are Dean. And that is someone wrote on WhatsApp. So guys, yeah, I think Emily,
we can wrap it up.
we can wrap it up and subscribe, guys. Like the video, join the
back
membership,
again
do
tomorrow.
everything. We're back again tomorrow, not unless if it rains or something happens, I don't know. Then we won't be able to cover the case. But God forbids, that should not happen. We'll be here tomorrow. Remember to press that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're not able to subscribe, that means someone sent you something, maybe through Facebook or what, and you are
don't
watching
have a
it there.
YouTube
So
account, or you're
please
not logged
move
in.
out of that and then go to YouTube straight and hit that like button on the YouTube app and subscribe. Then you'll be able to subscribe. But if you got it through a certain link, maybe that link is not taking you back directly to YouTube. So
it
please do so.
Happens sometimes. So
It does.
make sure you're logged into your YouTube account so that you can subscribe.
Yes. Thank you guys. It's a bye from us.
Bye.